So we said Black Christmas?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Black Christmas. 25 slaves of Christmas.
What is this? It's,
Slave 14.
Slay 14.
Black Christmas 74.
74. 74. We decided to double dip on Black Christmas.
Double dip because there's three.
There are
74, 2006, and 2019, which you've already seen. I forget what slave that was. Slave
5.
Five,
Slay
yeah.
5. And now we'll have to round them out. We'll have to do 06 before the slaves are over, just to do all three.
Yeah, choose
Maybe
the best.
Maybe next December we can get around to. We'll do all the Silent Nights.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Or at some point. I don't know.
Maybe.
But this one, 1974, so you got to keep that in mind when you're watching it. I guess it's a little bit more updated than Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, but it's still one of those old-ass horror movies.
So what I thought was interesting, and I didn't know this, was that it predated Halloween as like one of the original slasher films.
Oh, okay.
And that this was actually a film that went on to inspire Halloween, that went on to inspire everything that happened after that. So Black Christmas, the OG, was
Pretty big then.
one of
It
the
was a
OG
pretty big
slasher
deal.
films.
Yeah.
I read that the director, though, doesn't necessarily consider it a slasher film.
I wouldn't really either.
He says he considers it a psychological thriller.
Yeah.
Which, like, okay, I guess I could
see that while viewing it because it's more Scream-esque. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, girl gets phone call, getting harassed the whole time. That's like the whole gist of this whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. The only thing that really bugged me in this movie was the fact that when anybody would go missing at any point, they would just scream their name, what seemed like 15 to 20 fucking times.
I feel
And-
like that was a 70s thing, though, because I felt the same thing. I reviewed Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like, last year, and I said in that as well, where it felt like they reused footage to kill time. And I feel like that happens a lot in, like, 70s horror movies. You
I
know?
could see that. There was just like, it bugged me after a little bit with the lady running around, fill up, fill up, fill up, fill up. It's like, yo, Philip ain't answering.
Yeah.
Get out the house, girl.
Right.
They told you get out of the house. So like, that was the only thing that really bothered me when I was viewing this movie, other than like, you know, you got to think 1974, you're not going to get like these cool kill scenes or nothing like that.
Yeah.
A lot of the kills happen with weird camera cuts.
Which honestly, though, so far, you know, we're doing another weekly binger here, but of the 4 deep, I think I only have 2 written down on a Slay of the Week list, and they're both from Black Christmas. Everything else we've watched hasn't really offered up a whole lot of slays yet, but
I think I might have. We got some good slays.
there were a couple I liked. One in particular we might get back to it at the end of this week is the I put Miss Mac Gets Hooked. When the house mother
Yeah, when she gets hooked, that was pretty good.
I was like that one's pretty good. I thought it was interesting. The director of this movie, this is it was his first Christmas movie, but it most certainly would not be his last. It wouldn't be his last classic Christmas movie either. The other thing that this guy directed was A Christmas Story.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
same guy that did A Christmas Story.
Same guy.
Yeah, a little fun fact for you.
I just kept thinking when I viewed it, it was 1974, so that would have been, my parents would have been 14. So that would have been one of those movies that they went to the theater on the weekend or whatever and caught. And I was like, I bet my mom was scared shitless at this movie. And it's not even scaring me. I'm just sitting around like, yeah, cool. The biggest qualm with this whole movie is they don't really set up to tell you who the fuck the killer is or what he's doing. They kind of mention his name at the end, like he says his name.
But he says his name throughout like the whole damn movie. And I feel like that was the total opposite of the 2019 one. Whereas the 2019 one had no mystery at all. This one had This one had so much mystery to a fault, like to a point where it was like it didn't give us enough answers. I felt like,
No.
yeah, like
Not even close.
Because I was definitely along for the ride. You know, there at the beginning, I was like, I definitely see where this is a classic. I dug it a lot. I liked the differences between the two. For sure, it's definitely a different movie than the 2019
Oh,
one.
much different, yeah.
And I can
completely.
definitely see where somebody, especially with you saying the 06 one is so similar to the 74 one, I can see where somebody goes through those 2 Black Christmases and goes into the third one expecting something like that and then being disappointed. But that's just one of those things that people will do that all the time where they compare remakes, and it's like you can't.
No, I actually think the newest one had one of the best overall things. You know what I'm saying?
I enjoyed it a lot.
Not the guy in the attic. It was just a whole army of motherfuckers.
And like I didn't mind the guy in the attic thing, except for the fact that they just didn't explain it at the end.
Well,
like,
yeah,
there was no
didn't.
sort of explanation of like I could have done with like a psychopath escaped from the local mental hospital. Like I would have been fine with that. You know, that at least would have been something. But it's just like, who is this guy? What is his motive? Like I do enjoy the fact that he's just kind of this crazy dude, you know. But
Right.
like I didn't like the way it ended. It just kind of was very abrupt. In fact, I didn't write down a score for this one, because I wanted to talk it over before I like settled.
I can feel
where I was
that.
going with this.
I mean, it does kind of abruptly end, and it was real funny to me because the cops like make sure someone stays here with her, and then they one by one
Yeah.
all get pulled off, and they all
Yeah.
leave her in this house alone with one cop standing outside.
who
So it's like,
got killed as well as the cop outside usually does. In
yeah,
these movies.
yeah, you know, and it's like I guess they could have been setting up for some sort of sequel, something like that, because Halloween was kind of like that, and it wouldn't have been too much longer after that those
I
kind of
mean,
started coming out.
to be fair, things like that, like the cop dying outside and stuff like that, is technically the first of its kind. It was technically,
That ain't happening.
but you know, we're seeing it. We're not seeing it in 1974.
Yeah,
This
we're
isn't
seeing
the
it in
first time.
2020 when that's just like, you don't even
Yeah.
think twice. That happens in every movie. I think by now the movies make fun of that trope. Like, oh, we're sitting out front of this house as cops, we're probably going to die.
Yeah.
I just watched a movie recently, I feel like.
Scream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it was.
Scream.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
well, yeah, as funny as that is, yeah. And I can't wait for the new one, actually.
But
Side
that's a
note.
whole other thing.
That's a whole other story. But this one, yeah, it just I thought it was funny though. Oh, it just popped up the sheriff. He's like the famous sheriff in all these slasher movies and shit. I feel like I don't know the guy's name, but like when I saw his face, I was like, I feel like that guy is like a sheriff in every role he does. Because I feel like he was in
I have
something
a hard
else.
time remembering the sheriff.
I don't want to pull my phone out while we're in the middle of doing this and look up these things, but maybe we'll post it on Facebook or something like that. But I know he's in a lot of fucking shit.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, the movie, like I said, I think it's pretty good. It's definitely a classic for the genre, so you should definitely check it out.
And there were
nonetheless.
definitely, like we talked about earlier, there were callbacks. Like now that we've seen both of them, like we kind of know, like in the 2019 one, definitely in the cinematography, whereas it takes not a whole lot from the story, but in the cinematography, there's definitely a few shots that they recreate later.
Oh,
in
most definitely.
in the new one.
Then the house is kind of set up similar. That's the one thing I noticed too.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, cool, because they had the big long over, like the stairs hallway, but
Mhm.
over walk. I don't even know what the fuck you call those things, but they had that in that too.
The cat in the in this one, his name is Claude, and in the 2019 one, it's Claudette. So that the female thing sticking with the
Yeah.
thing, yeah. So,
That's pretty dope, man.
Fun fact for you.
And I'm sure it was like a trope from, all the big problems that was going on back in the 70s with women. And the same, because, it's still same all-female house, stuff like that, so.
Yeah, I thought the concept was creepy for sure, but yeah, by the end of it, it just kind of let me down a little bit.
It does. It
And
does.
So with it being a classic, that's where I become conflicted on what my score here is. So I'm gonna ask you first.
My score on this movie, I think it's 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. Like I said, I do enjoy it. It was a good thriller. You got to think of it at the time. It always reminds me of like the first and second Friday the 13th, and like you said, the original Halloweens and stuff. It definitely goes along with those. Evil Dead's one of my favorites, so it's
definitely.
like definitely a part of that same time period. So that's why I enjoy
And
it.
fun fact for you, if you don't know about this, did you see the Evil Dead video game trailer?
Huh?
Yeah, we'll have to look at that after this.
Oh, I didn't even know they was making one of
It
those.
looks sick as fuck.
Well, I know we'll
have to
be
be
reviewing
reviewing
that
that.
sometime.
Yeah.
Probably have to make a Twitch and just play that game for people.
Big Evil Dead fans here.
Big, but yeah, like I said, 6 out of 10, enjoyable. Nothing I wanted to turn off and be like, fuck this movie and stuff. We've definitely watched a lot worse. So I would recommend this
Yeah.
to somebody if they was wanting a classic that maybe they ain't seen yet.
I definitely didn't think it was bad by any means, not necessarily. I mean, I don't mind when something's an old movie. It is a classic, and I definitely see the reasons why but it just didn't stick the landing for me personally. There's a lot, like I said, mystery was the problem here. There's too much mystery in this one for me as opposed to the other one. So I'm hoping that 06 has a sweet spot. I guess we'll find out. You already know. I guess I'll find out.
Yeah,
so
I don't remember it though.
For me, I guess my final decision here, 6.5.
6.5?
Yeah, 6.5.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm with that. Like I said, 6.5 out of 10. It's enjoyable. It's definitely one to check out, especially if you're trying to get into that holiday spirit.
Yeah. For you horror buffs or you cinema buffs, I mean, like I said, it started a whole genre of films. It was also one of the first, of the seasonal slashers, too.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of set up the groundwork for a lot of things to come. So it's got to. That's where I struggle between the 6.5 and the 7 was giving it that other 0.5 just for respect.
Right.
for the classic.
Right. Well, and they should have maybe hammered out their killer a little bit more. Maybe it would have been up in the 7 or 8 range. So I don't know, man.
But I think I'm definitely gonna have to settle on that 6.5.
6.5. Let's do it, man. Well, that's it, man. For Black Christmas 74.
74.
We'll see you
19.
tomorrow.
We'll make it to 06 at some point.
We'll make it to 06. It's going to pop up on you. So don't say we didn't warn you. Slay you later.